Hello gamers, my name is Ted Worthington and welcome to the very first video on this channel. For those who aren't familiar with Destiny, this is the Gjallarhorn. It's one of my absolute favourite weapons, which I've never actually owned. Fundamentally it's a rocket launcher that homes onto its targets and detonates into smaller rounds and is capable of doing a great deal of damage. Plus it also buffs your team's legendary rocket launchers by giving them the Wolfpack rounds. In practical terms,
the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Back in the days of Destiny 1, this was unmistakably a hard to find status item at the time. It was a favourite amongst Guardians for its sheer boss slaying potential. I remember playing the very first expansion, The Dark Below, that had one of my personal favourite raids, Crota's End, in which ended having to slay a Hive God Prince. And I was the only person in my 6-man fire team without this glorious exotic rocket launcher. To get the ball rolling, you'll need to pick up the quest Outfly the Walls from old Squidface himself in Zer's treasure hoard, once you've completed Adares of Eternity. After this, you need to pay a visit to Shor Han in the Cosmodrome, who will tell you that the next step in the quest is to complete the Grasp of Avarice Dungeon. For this, you'll need a full fire team, and set off for the dungeon in the Cosmodrome. In the name of keeping this video concise, I'll be sharing a few short clips of my fire team throughout this dungeon. So the first step is quite simple. Once you load in, you see a lot of hive thralls running around. When you kill them, they'll drop something that looks like an exotic engram. Don't get too excited like I did the first time I ran this dungeon. You'll need to gather up these engrams and deposit them in the crystal in the nearby cave by standing next to it. Once you have enough, the floor will open and you can jump down and move on to the next section. Fight your way past some enemies until you reach this room. From this point onwards, there'll be a series of Indiana Jones style traps. Naturally, as an experienced gamer, I was not fooled by any of these. Oh, ow. Spikes. Oh. God damn it. Oh dear. It hit me and I didn't die! Now fight your way through this area, flipping switches as you go, and be sure to find the hidden switch at the end. So for this section, your fire team needs to be hopping around, killing the ads and flipping switches. Do this, and before too long you'll have access to a Scorch Cannon, which you'll use to open certain doors within the dungeon. Take the cannon to door 4 and open it. You can either fire 3 rockets, or shoot it once and hold the trigger until the shot is fully charged. Either way works fine. At last we reach the first real encounter in this dungeon, a disgruntled hive ogre.
What are you doing in my swamp?
We're going to take the mechanics we've learnt so far and apply them in this fight. We start the engagement by taking out the Scorch Cannon wielding Vandal at the back of the arena. We then use the cannon to open one of the 2 garage doors. We proceed to quickly murder any alien life behind these doors, collect the burdens of riches that they drop and deposit them in the crystal in front of the ogre. After you do this 2 to 3 times, the damage phase will begin. Then you just keep running that loop until the ogre has been dissolved from reality.
Yeah, it's generated orbs.
Remember, you can always take cover behind the crystal if you're taking damage, and if you're a warlock, don't forget to use your Well of Radiance for some extra boss damage. I would normally recommend heavy weapons for boss damage, by the way.
Oh, quite big about that.
Still immune. There it is. Fuck you! Quick celebration with the fire team, we're off to the races.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Gamers! And when I say races, I mean a Sparrow time trial. This section is quite self-explanatory. Race to the end, defuse mines, and do your best not to die or waste time. You can actually extend the time you have available to beat this trial by driving close to the things on the floor that resemble landmines. I personally tend to find the last jump a bit tricky, but my team managed just fine, thankfully.
I missed all of mine when I was going past anyway, so I was a bit
Managed to get some.
already. This was probably my quickest run of this actually.
Don't seem to be walking fast enough. It's right, my sparrow blew up, but I made it. Now we are back to using the mechanics to progress. Scorch cannons are very important in this section, as you'll need them to power the grav cannons and navigate the map. You're looking for servitors with a white immunity shield. This works just like the ogre boss fight. Kill the ads, pick up the burden of riches and score them in the nearby crystal, and the servitor will become vulnerable. Once defeated, you need to roll the servitor's corpse over to the grav cannon and fire it at the fallen place in the centre of the map. After doing this a few times, you'll all meet up on the centre platform and take a grav lift up to the final boss of the dungeon. Now I think it's fair to say that Kaz-Nu-Daz carried me a little, as I wasn't really aware of the specifics of this fight. I basically just looked pretty and took part in the damage phase. But now I know you need to kill the Shanks first, followed by an invisible vandal who will drop Burden of Riches, which you'll need to deposit in the crystal in the middle of the arena. At this point you'll hunt for a Scorch Cannon wielding vandal, kill him and take his weapon. There are 3 power supplies around the room that will drop more of the debuffs once charged with the cannon. Keep depositing these into the crystal and unleash hell on the boss. Keep running this pattern until victory is achieved.
Yeah. Two buckets.
Nice.
Congratulations, the hardest step of the Gjallarhorn quest is now completed. But this being Destiny, naturally there are a handful more of quest steps to wrap up this mission. First of which is to return to Shorehand back in the Cosmodrome. He'll then send you off to kill a handful of powerful Fallen, which simply means Fallen with the yellow health bar in the Cosmodrome. This should hopefully drop the Wolfpack rounds you acquire. Once you've collected them all, return to Shorehand, who will give you a component of the beloved Godslayer and then send you to the tower to have a quick chinwag with Banshee 44. After speaking to the gunsmith, you'll need to complete the Lost Sector Exodus Garden 2A in the Cosmodrome. Once completed, return to Shorehand's camp to reconstruct the Gjallarhorn. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I just gotta make it here.
Woo! Yeah, baby!
I won't lie, this is a bit of a big moment for me. I've desired a Gjallarhorn since D1, but I've always been one of the unlucky few who never achieved it. I'd been asked to leave more than one raid team because I didn't have this weapon, which was always heartbreaking. And I've taken so long to get it that it's been reworked into more of a supporting rocket launcher rather than a leader in DPS, but that doesn't matter to me at all. I'm happy that after all these years, I finally have closure on the gun that got away. Now it's time to wrap up my first video on this channel. my friends and I are going to run some Dares of Eternity with our Gjallarhorns just to see the Wolfpack rounds fly. Thank you so much for listening. I'm hoping to make more videos again soon. Come on over to the Tribe of Gamers Discord and give some of your suggestions. They will be most welcome. Take care and stay safe out there, Guardians.
That's I don't have one pack rounds. Anybody else?
Did you? You're using them.
Yeah. I'm seeing Wolfpack rounds all over the shop.
Yeah, no, sorry, they are, yeah.